Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Elizabeth Fox, the Foxy Writer. Today I want to talk to you guys about your writer's toolbox, what this is, why you need it, and how to develop it. So, first of all, this is not like my own words and concepts. I actually remember learning about this in middle school English class, okay? Yeah, so again, this is not something new, but it's something I don't see videos on YouTube about, and it's kind of something I think is important to talk about. Not everybody has the same background as everyone else when it comes to our education, and the skills we developed or learned to develop. Especially in America, where I'm from, there is a very big disparity in our education system, unfortunately. Even people in the same city do not receive the same quality or type of education. So we all are starting at different places as writers. One of the great things I love about writing is that it has such a low barrier to entry. You do not need anything to start writing, okay? You don't need a degree, you don't need certificates, you don't need an apprenticeship. All you need is your brain, something to write with. That's it. Of course, being a good writer takes a lot more than that, a lot more time and a lot more education. And having your writer's toolbox is a concept and an idea that is going to really help you. So a writer's toolbox is a metaphor. You can use it a toolbox, or you can think of it like your writing briefcase or your writing shelf. Whatever kind of concept or whatever you can imagine that really makes it easier for you, you can substitute in. So your writer's toolbox is the skills that you as a writer will gain and polish and perfect that will help you with your writing. I like to imagine my toolbox as a literal toolbox with 3 shelves, okay? My first shelf is my technical skills, my second shelf is my creative/abstract skills, and my last shelf is my junk drawer. I'm a Midwest gal, so of course we gotta have that junk drawer in there. So, in my writer's toolbox, you have base skills, I call them, or technical skills. Things like grammar, syntax, things that are concepts that you can learn. These aren't up for interpretation. These aren't concepts that will be different to each person or each writer. These are hard and fast skills. Grammar has a set of rules you need to learn. Syntax is a concept you will learn, things like that. So some examples of some technical skills that you might want to look into or brush up on are grammar, sentence structure or syntax, what is theme, mood, tone, setting, what is a scene, what are characters, how do characters develop, or what is a character arc, what is a story arc, what is a plot, what are theories of plots, or what makes plots interesting, what are the different kinds of stories, what are archetypes, and what are archetypes for characters and for plots, and things like that. That's just a short list. There is so much more to learn, but if I had to sit and name every single one, I would definitely forget a lot, and this video would be very long. So these are skills that you learn either by being taught or by teaching yourself, and these are technical skills that create a strong foundation. Oh, excuse me. Writing is, yes, it's an art form, but there are rules to the game. Just like an artist needs to learn how to draw a figure and how the technical aspects of drawing before they can go create abstract works or whatever they want, a writer needs to really have a strong base. And this is something I think a lot of new writers forego. They think that they can just come up with all these ideas and it doesn't matter because even if they're breaking the rules, it's art, which is true, but you have to know the rules to break them, or you're not breaking rules, you're just making mistakes. And again, you can break rules, but you need to know the rules, why they work, and how to break them effectively. So again, you want to create this very strong foundation. You will, if you start to study these things, you will notice your writing progressing much faster than if you had to figure them out on your own without knowledge of what they are. Writing is hard because you have to write to get better, and it is a long process, and it can be very hard to see your writing getting better when you're in the middle of it. But again, laying the foundation and having these skills, these technical skills in your toolbox is going to make life a little bit easier as a writer. And then in your second drawer, you have your creative skills. These are personal skills that you develop. And unlike technical skills, which you can develop much quicker, these are skills that take a very long time to develop. They are things that you have to develop through your own trial and error. So let's talk about what these are real fast. So these are skills like how you personally create a novel from start to finish, how you will outline, how you develop characters, how you develop ideas, your author voice, or how you write and your specific style. Now, these are all things that are very creative and very abstract, so that is why I differ them from my technical skills. And these are things that you will develop by studying other writers, certainly, but also by doing it. And you can vary it from book to book, or maybe you will write for one way for 5 years, and then you'll find something else you like better, and that is how you write from now on. It will be an ever-changing drawer, and it is, again, very hard to develop. Now, last, you have your junk drawer. This is like miscellaneous things that you really can't categorize into one or the other, or maybe they're a mix of both. For an example, like vocabulary, I think would be kind of a junk drawer skill I would consider, because it's not technically a base skill, because there's no rules to it. They are just words, and I don't think they're as like loosely creative as I would say my abstract drawer is. But I also think it's something very important, so I could put that in my junk drawer. Some people might not even have a junk drawer in their writer's toolbox. That's just something I do. So again, I use the example of a toolbox. I love the visualization. I'm a very visual person. I have to be able to picture things in my head to a point to kind of understand concepts. So I really, really vibed with this idea of having a toolbox. It helps me to visualize the skills I have or need, and to kind of compartmentalize them and to be able to recall them a lot easier. Again, you may want to do maybe have a shelf is how you will break it down. And maybe you want a toolbox, but you don't want 2 drawers, or 3 for my case. Maybe you want 6 or 8, or maybe you break it down into different. You don't really go by base or abstract skills like I do. Maybe you go by something else. Again, whatever you want to do, personalize it. It is your thing, but again, I love the visualization, and it really helps me to actively think about things I've learned or need to learn or get better at. So how do you develop this toolbox is a very, very important question. You develop it the same way you develop your skills as a writer. First of all, by writing. You have to write to get better at writing. And luckily, if you're a writer, you probably like writing, so it'll be a little better. You can go and get a degree or a certificate, taking classes. It's a lot of money, and unfortunately not everyone has access to that, money to pay for an education. I couldn't think for a second, sorry. So you can also read books, watch YouTube videos, find blogs, and try, go to your library and try and soak as much information as possible. Again, breaking down this toolbox into skills that you want to learn can make it a lot easier. For example, looking up skills you need as a writer is going to yield you lots and lots of results, and not always what you need or want. But if you're like, okay, I want to learn to get better at syntax, you can look that up or get books or take classes on that specifically, and it's really going to help you refine that specific skill rather than shotgunning your results and hoping something lands. You can also get a mentor or a critique partner and do groups and kind of feed off of each other. I would caution to make sure that you know what you're getting into and have a plan if you're doing critique groups, because they can very easily be as ineffective and harmful for you as they can be positive and help you grow. So definitely look into that, but that is another great way to do that. And again, they're very important because you need to develop certain skills as a writer, and you sometimes don't know that you're missing skills. I mentioned in the beginning of this video that not everyone has the same level of education or came from the same background as other writers. So if you don't know something, how will you learn it? By making a plan of skills that you think you should learn or that you want to learn, you can slowly begin to kind of knock things off of your list and develop a lot of skills. And often looking into one thing will make you go into another. If you look into grammar, you'll eventually start having to look into syntax. If you look into the tone and how to create tone in your book, you're going to be exposed to what a mood is and what setting is, because everything is intertwined like a giant spider web, because everything together is what creates a good book. So again, learning one skill will lead you into other skills. So if you are really worried about if you are someone who doesn't have a very strong background in English or writing, and you're very worried about not knowing what you need to know, again, start one place and expanding, because everything is so interconnected, you will eventually learn things, and you have so much time to learn. You won't learn everything before you've written your first book, or your second book, or your third book, or your 15th book. Even the big writers still learn things today. I guarantee you Stephen King is learning just as much as he did when he was a writer, or first started out as a writer, I should say. So don't worry about trying to learn everything right away, or even everything before you write your book. You have to write to learn, and you as a writer, your books will get better over the term of your career. So don't be afraid to put bad books out there. Definitely try your hardest to make them good books, but at the end of the day, you can only do so much with the skills you have at a certain time. So just work on developing them more than working on trying to be the perfect writer and write the perfect book. Anyway, I hope this video was really helpful. I hope that it explained this concept very well. Again, I didn't go into depth on each skill because that would take a lot of time, but I do want to make videos in the future about certain skills and learning how to do certain things. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and let me know in the comment section if you like the idea of having a writer's toolbox, if you call it a toolbox or call it something else, maybe your writer's purse or writer's backpack, I don't know. You know what I mean? And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things, and I know that you guys are going to be fucking fabulous on your writing journey, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. All right, have a great day.